Hello gamers, what is up? I'm J104 and today I'm bringing you guys a little bit of a different video to end off the year. That being, I'm going to be rating all of the games I have played this year and also throughout the whole channel because I haven't done this for any other year. Next year it will just be next year's games if I do this again. So let's just get started with the first game, Assassin's Creed Mirage. C. It's not quite a D, but it's definitely not a B. So let's just go to a random game. Blah, this one. Trek to Yomi. That was a fairly enjoyable game. I have played it since recording the video. Is it A tier? I think it's... Yeah, I think it's A tier. Alright, let's pick another one. This one. Oh, well, that would be the worst game of the year if the day before didn't happen. Alright, that's all I'm going to say on Lord of the Rings Gollum. But next up is Jasont. That is another fairly enjoyable A game. Probably ahead of Trek, no, behind Trek to Yomi because it made me read a lot. And I don't know how to read. Alright, next game will be... Spider-Man for the PS4. S tier. That's probably one of my favourite games I've played ever. Not just for this year. So it's definitely our first addition to the S tier. Next up, what game will be next? Life is Strange True Colors. Now, I am a massive Don't Nod fan. I've made that very clear in every video on any game I've ever done, really. Is True Colors an S? I don't think I personally liked it as much as the original Life is Strange, but I liked it a lot more than 2. And I think I liked it more than Before the Storm. So I'm confident we can give that an S. Next up is Avatar: The Last Airbender Burning Earth. I think that game was called. That's a B tier. It reminded me to go rewatch Avatar for the 100th time. And that's not a bad thing. And the game itself was enjoyable for a child's game. Next up is Dead Island 2, more specifically the House DLC. I would say that is another solid B tier game. It's not quite A tier because it's just a very short DLC, but it was still pretty enjoyable and it featured a cult. Who doesn't love a cult? Before I say anything else on cults, let's move on to Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, the video game. Do you know what? A, because it was an interesting concept that they showed stuff about the movie before the movie came out. And it wasn't that bad of a game. I think I liked it when I played it. Also, now might be a good time to add, I haven't gone back and watched any of my reviews for these games. So maybe my thoughts have changed over time. And also, I just don't remember playing some of them, if I'm being completely honest. However, the Forgotten City, oh, that's a game I remember playing. I've played many times since that video. That game is, it's not quite an S tier, because it's very much held back by, you can tell it was once a Skyrim mod. It still has the quirks of a Skyrim mod, I guess I'm saying. So I'll put it in A tier above Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, the video game. Next up, Mafia 1, the Definitive Edition, which is another solid A tier game. I don't like it as much as Mafia 2 because your boy loves Vito Scaletta, but it was a very good remaster with only small issues here and there. And it was actually easier than the original release of Lost Haven. So we're going to go... Is it better than Trek to Yomi? I think I enjoyed it more than Trek to Yomi. Alright. Next up on the chopping block is Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six. That has to go to S. Now, it's a shit game. Shit mechanics. The sound has always been broken, always will be broken. And Ash has no headshot box, hitbox, whatever you want to call it. Ash doesn't have it. But I always come back to Siege. It's always just... There's something about hopping on a game of Siege with the lads to wind off a long week. Therefore, for me, it's an S tier. But in terms of like just sole gameplay, it's probably like D because it's broken as all hell. But hey, that's why we like it. Next up is Miles Morales. It's another S tier. It's probably... I actually think... Story-wise, I like Miles' story more than Peter's in these games. I can't put it ahead of Spider-Man PS4 though, just because what that did to reignite my love of gaming. So all right. Next up, we have The Long Drive. Honestly, it's a C tier. It's above Assassin's Creed Mirage. It's just, it didn't really capture me the way I was talking like it would. Like, I thought it'd be like Minecraft. But I think its biggest problem is so many games that fall into that niche have released in the last couple of years. Like, you've got, well, I consider The Long Drive in the same category as Minecraft, Among Us, Fall Guys. No one plays that anymore, though. Phasmophobia. What's a Lethal Company? Just sort of games like that. Which they're always a good time, but they're not necessarily a great game. Per se. But do you know what is a great game? Oh, Mirror's Edge. Indeed it is. It's not quite an S tier. Is it a B tier? No, it's an A tier. It's better than Revenge of the Sith. It's better than Forgotten City. Is it better than Jusant? I think it is, and I think it's definitely better than... I think Track to Yomi needs to go down one, if we're being honest. I think we're good so far. Next up is Dead Island 2. Now, Dead Island 2, the house DLC was B tier. Dead Island 2, the game, is definitely an A tier game for me. One of the better zombie hack and slash games out there. And I think we've got to put it just above Forgotten City. Am I happy with that? Yes. Next up, Cars, the video game. Oh, no, not in B. Well, actually, I feel nostalgia for me probably carries this game, even though it's not the same version that I played. So I think we'll just chuck this in. Do you know, I think it's B tier. I think it's better than House. Is it better than... Yeah, it's also better than Avatar: The Last Airbender Burning Earth. Next up, Breaking Point, the first one, which was in F1 2020, was it? 2021? I don't remember which one exactly. But here we're thinking of the Breaking Point story, the first one, which was by far A, and I think for me is second top of... No. Actually, there. Yep, there. Yep. Yeah, so it goes there, and Mafia the Definitive Edition gets busted down a block. Next up, D. At least I could finish. I mean, I didn't finish, but I could have finished Gollum Lord of the Rings. I was unable to complete the Heist and the Hazardous DLC for Saints Row. So let's just leave that there. Nothing else to say about Sons of Anarchy, The Prospect, the mobile Telltale Games-esque game. Unfortunately, it has to be a D because I was unable to play that game because you can't anymore. Next up, Lollipop Chainsaw. Oh. I mean, I said Dead Island 2 is a good zombie hack and slash game. The Lollipop Chainsaw is a better one, therefore naturally finding its spot in ahead of it. Next up, we have got Skyrim. Skyrim's an S tier game. Its bugs make it S tier for the most part. I don't think there's much more to say about that. Next up, Fug 2, Tony Hawk's Underground 2. I was not a fan of this game. It's a C tier for me. I just did not enjoy it one bit. I don't know why, as I absolutely loved, where is it? Where is it? Tony Hawk's Underground 1. That game is a A tier for me, and I think just behind The Forgotten City. Alright, Captain Spirit, or The Amazing Adventures of Captain Spirit, or The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit. I forgot the name, but the sort of prequel game to Life is Strange 2. I'm thinking it's probably due to its shortness and not much actually happening. It's probably a B tier. It's probably top of B though. Next up is Uncharted 4. That's definitely top of A. I love that game. I haven't had a chance to replay it since the video, but I absolutely adored that game, even though it was my first Uncharted game. And I have started replaying the first games in the series. Alright, next I've got that. No, I'm joking. I got some hate for that video. But that was my thoughts on the campaign alone. The game itself is probably like bottom A tier, which is where about all Call of Duties sit, because their multiplayers are always fun. Well, actually, maybe not. Anyways, next up, Forza Motorsports. I'm thinking this game is probably... it's not as good in terms of racing as Breaking Point. So we're going to go maybe behind Fug 1. Yes, I like that placement. Simpsons Hit and Run is an S tier game. If you disagree, you are wrong. That game is like everyone's childhood. Well, it should have been. Next up, Atomic Heart. I know there's a DLC for that game, which I'm tempted to get around to playing, but I just haven't yet because I'd need to reinstall Atomic Heart. But you know what? Atomic Heart is a solid B tier game. Like, it's no one's favorite, but it can be enjoyable if you ignore every time he says crispy critters or something that makes you cringe, which is half the dialogue in the game. But anyways, that brings us to Breaking Point 2, which is, I think I enjoyed Breaking Point 1 more than Breaking Point 2, even though I kind of liked what they attempted to do with Devon. I reckon it's probably between the two zombie hack and slashers. Next up, Transformers the Game. It's another just B tier movie, TV show, game. Made a national job on it. It's probably actually I think probably looking like that so far. Actually, that can go down to C just because of how short it was, and I felt nothing happened during it really. Gotham Knights. I don't know about Gotham Knights. I really don't. My thoughts changed a bit for a bit. I was like, oh, it's a good game, but then I went back to no, it's actually not. But I really did enjoy the Court of Owls being added to the game, and do you know what? Quite frankly, if it wasn't open worldy in its aspects, if it's just a straight narrative game, it would probably be approaching on S tier. But since it's gone for the whole open world collectathon, sort of need to level up to do stuff, it's a top of B tier for me. Lies of P, a game where I only covered the demo. I have in fact played the actual release of the game, and I absolutely adore it. It's my first Souls game that I've played apart from Dark Souls 3, because I'm not very good at them, if we're being frankly honest. I think I hadn't played Dark Souls 3 when I played the demo for that game. So that game was the cataclysm into Dark Souls for me. And I enjoy but hate my life every time I play Dark Souls game. I think I'm going to go ahead of Trek to Yomi. Road 96, oh, it's just such a good game, isn't it? I mean, I don't know if the replayable factor is there as much as I thought it would be, because all the stories seem to just copy-paste. I'm thinking like maybe, honestly, probably there. A tier is very overfilled, so Get Out of Hell, that's not an A tier game. It's a DLC at best. I mean, so is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. But on that premise alone, it's getting busted down. It's better than Get Out of Hell. Oh no, actually, Get Out of Hell was sort of different. Jedi Fallen Order, brilliant game, love it. Saints Row, absolute trash. SWTOR, It's just got to be there. I mean, I have sunk and I continue to sink so many hours into that game. Now, WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2010 is a interesting game. Not just as it's a game, but it also sort of, after making my video on that game, I started getting recommended more and more WWE clips and such on YouTube. And now, well, I am full-blown addicted again to WWE, and like I've started watching most of the weekly shows, and I also started watching premium live events again, my first one being Survivor Series, which also sees the return of one of my favorite wrestlers in CM Punk, who also appeared in this game. So just on that alone, I'm going to rate this game pretty highly because I like WWE again. But also, the game was pretty enjoyable. Now, the story of someone coming in and winning literally every belt is a bit, I wouldn't say unrealistic, but it's like obvious storylines to take. Actually, recently, I've played through the newest WWE game. I think it's 2K23. And I've been playing through the 2 separate story modes on that game, which there will be a video about in the future, which is, it's got like a more developed story. But then again, it's 13 years later, so of course storytelling in games has developed a lot itself. But all that to say, this game, for me at least, has to be, I think it has to be above Liza P. Maybe even above Jasont. No. There, yep. Okay, so that is me list. I'm happy with it, obviously. I'll put the Prospect above these 3 games. Actually, I know I never played the Prospect, but it's definitely a hell of a lot better than Golem and the Saints Row game. This D category should just see, let's just rename it to Refund ASAP. There we go. And then we've got our C, B, A, and S, which I'm happy with. Is there anything I would change? Do you know what? I don't think there's anything I would change. I'm pretty happy with this list. So yeah, this has sort of been my end of year review of the games I have played this year. Of course, this ranking has nothing to do with my videos on them, as well, I don't want to rank my own videos because that'd be depressing and that'd all end up in D or Refund ASAP, which doesn't really work in this category. But anyways, this is the list. If you would rank any other games higher or lower, let me know. I know a lot of people rank SWTOR a lot lower, but that game is literally my life and I still play it almost every day. Even now that BioWare don't own it and it's owned by some place where MMOs go to die, I've still been enjoying it. But yeah, there's been this video. If you've liked it, maybe subscribe to see how I rank games next year and what games I get to play next year. But anyways, I have been J104 and I will see you guys in the next video and have a happy new year. Peace.